Welcome to Bedtime Daydreams. Tonight, we're going to experience something truly special. What it would be like to make that final debt payment and wake up completely debt-free for the first time in years. We're going to walk through every single moment of this journey. From the second you realize you can finally make that last payment, to telling the people you love, to feeling what it's really like when there's no more debt hanging over your head, when every dollar you earn is actually yours to keep. Before we begin, if you enjoy this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us create more stories like this one. And leave a comment telling us where you're from, what time it is where you are, and what's the first thing you'd do if you woke up tomorrow completely debt-free. We love reading your answers. Now, this isn't a meditation or a sleep hypnosis track. It's a detailed fantasy about becoming debt-free. If you fall asleep while listening, that's perfect. If you stay awake and hear the whole story, that's great too. There's no mystical promises here. No manifestation claims, just an entertaining story about something so many of us dream about. Okay, let's begin your journey to financial freedom. It's Saturday morning. You're sitting at your kitchen table with your laptop open and a cup of coffee getting cold next to you. Sunlight is coming through the window, and there's this quiet stillness in the house that feels different somehow. You've been staring at your bank account for the past 5 minutes. Because today is the day. After years of budgeting, side hustles, saying no to things you wanted, watching your friends go on vacations while you stayed home. After years of that tight feeling in your chest every time you checked your bank balance, today, you can finally make the last payment. Your hands are actually shaking a little as you log into your credit card account, the one that started this whole mess years ago. You remember when you first got that card, how exciting it felt to have that limit, that freedom to buy things. You didn't understand back then how quickly it could spiral, how a few dinners out and some emergency car repairs, and one unexpected medical bill could turn into this mountain you've been climbing for so long. The balance shows up on the screen, $3,472. That's it. That's all that's left between you and being completely debt-free. You've got $4,000 in your checking account right now, money you've been saving for months specifically for this moment. You take a deep breath. Your heart is pounding. This is really happening. You click to make a payment. The screen asks you how much you want to pay. You could do the minimum. You could do half. But you don't want to wait another month, another day. You type in the full amount, $3,472. Your finger hovers over the confirm button, and you think about everything this represents. All those nights you couldn't sleep because you were worried about money. All the times you had to tell people no. You can't go out. You can't take that trip. You can't buy that thing because you're paying off debt. All the shame you felt when friends talked about their savings and investments, and you had nothing because every extra dollar went to paying off the past. You think about 3 years ago when you finally admitted you had a problem, when you sat down and actually added up all your debt for the first time. Credit cards, student loans, that personal loan you took out to consolidate other debt that just made things worse. $68,000. That's what the total was. You remember crying that night, wondering if you'd ever get out from under it. But you made a plan. You got serious. You started tracking every single dollar. You picked up extra shifts at work. You started that side gig doing freelance work on weekends. You stopped eating out. You canceled subscriptions. You sold things you didn't need every single month. You threw every extra penny at that debt. And slowly, so slowly, it sometimes felt like nothing was changing. The numbers started going down. You paid off the smallest credit card first, then another, then another. The student loans took forever, but you kept grinding. The personal loan felt like it would never end, but you didn't give up. And now, here you are, one click away from being done, from being free. You press confirm. The screen loads, processing payment. You hold your breath, and then it appears. Payment successful. New balance, $0. 0. You stare at that number. 0. No more balance. No more interest accruing while you sleep. No more minimum payments. No more juggling due dates. Just 0. You read it 3 more times to make sure it's real. Current balance, $0. Available credit, the full limit. But you're not going to use it because you're done with that life. Something breaks open in your chest. This feeling you can't quite name. It's not just happiness, though you're definitely happy. It's this sense of lightness, like you've been carrying this massive weight on your shoulders for so long that you forgot what it felt like to stand up straight, and suddenly the weight's gone. You laugh, just this sudden burst of laughter that surprises you, and then you're crying, happy tears, relief tears, disbelief tears. You did it. You actually did it. After all this time, all this work, all this sacrifice, you're debt-free. You grab your phone. You need to tell someone. Your partner is still asleep in the bedroom, but you can't wait. You pull up your banking app to screenshot the 0 balance. You want proof of this moment. You want to remember exactly what this screen looked like this Saturday morning when everything changed. But before you send the screenshot to anyone, you just sit there looking at it, thinking about what this means. You don't owe anyone anything anymore. Every paycheck from now on is yours. Actually yours, not already spent before it even hits your account. You can start building savings, real savings, not just a tiny emergency fund that you're always afraid to touch. You open your budget spreadsheet, the one you've been living by for 3 years. You look at the line item that says debt payments, the one that's been eating up half your income for so long. You highlight it, and you delete it. Gone. You don't need that line anymore. You recalculate your monthly budget without that payment, without any debt payments. And suddenly you have an extra $2,000 a month, $2,000 that used to disappear into interest and principal payments. $2,000 a month that you can now save, invest, or use to actually enjoy your life. The possibilities start flooding your mind. You could build up a real emergency fund. 6 months of expenses sitting safely in savings. You could start putting money into retirement. You're behind on that because of the debt, but now you can catch up. You could save for a down payment on a house. You could take a vacation, a real vacation, not just a weekend trip, without putting it on a credit card. You hear movement from the bedroom. Your partner is waking up. You stand up from the table, and your legs feel shaky. Your whole body is buzzing with this energy. You walk to the bedroom and push open the door. They're sitting up in bed, rubbing their eyes, hair all messy from sleep. "Morning," they mumble. "What time is it? Why are you up so early on a Saturday?" You can't stop smiling. "I did it," you say. Your voice is shaking. "I just made the last payment. We're debt-free." They blink at you, still half asleep, processing what you said, and then it hits them. Their eyes go wide. "Wait, what? Really? The last payment? Like all of it?" "All of it," you say. Zero. Balance. Completely paid off. No more debt. They throw off the covers and jump out of bed. "Are you serious right now? Show me." You hand them your phone with the screenshot. They stare at it, and you watch their face go through the same emotions you just felt. Disbelief, then realization, then pure joy. "We did it," they whisper. "We actually did it." And then they're hugging you, squeezing you tight, and you're both laughing and crying at the same time, because you both know what this cost. The date nights you skipped, the times you ate ramen for a week straight, the vacation invitations you had to decline, the stress and the fights and the fear that maybe you'd never get here. But you made it. Together. You supported each other through the hard months when it felt impossible. When one of you wanted to give up, the other kept pushing. And now you're standing in your bedroom on a Saturday morning, holding each other, knowing that everything is about to change. Your partner pulls back and looks at you. "We need to celebrate. We need to do something to mark this moment." "I know," you say. "But what? What do you even do to celebrate something this big? This is the biggest financial achievement of our lives. It deserves something special, something we'll remember forever." They think for a second, looking at you with so much love and pride. "Breakfast? Let's go out for breakfast. Somewhere nice. Somewhere we haven't been able to afford in forever. That place downtown with the amazing pancakes. And we'll pay for it with our debit card, not a credit card, because we can actually afford it now, because we have money in our account and no debt to pay." You laugh. "That sounds perfect. Let me take a shower first. I want to take my time getting ready. I want to enjoy this morning." In the shower, the hot water running over you, you just stand there for a minute, thinking about how different today feels from yesterday. Yesterday, you still had debt. Yesterday, you were still in that grind, still counting every dollar, still living in survival mode. Today, you're free. The debt doesn't control you anymore. You think about calling your parents. They helped you when things got really bad, loaned you money that you paid back as soon as you could. They worried about you so much during these years. They'll be so proud, so relieved. You'll call them after breakfast. You remember the day you had to ask them for help, how hard it was to admit you were in over your head, how much shame you felt. But they didn't judge you. They just helped, and you paid them back every single dollar. That felt important, proving to yourself and to them that you could handle your responsibilities. You get dressed, taking time to pick out something that makes you feel good. You're not rushing. You're not stressed about time or money or anything. You're just getting ready to go have breakfast with the person you love, to celebrate one of the biggest achievements of your life. At the restaurant, you and your partner are seated by a window. Sun streaming in, warm and bright. You order coffee and orange juice and the fancy French toast you've been wanting to try, but always thought was too expensive. Today, it doesn't matter. You can afford it. Not because you're rich, but because you're free from debt. While you wait for your food, you pull out your phone and look at that screenshot again. 0 balance. You can't stop looking at it. Your partner reaches across the table and takes your hand. You know what I keep thinking about? They say. Remember 2 years ago when we almost gave up? When your car broke down and we had to use our emergency fund to fix it, and it felt like we'd never get ahead? You nod. I remember. I wanted to quit that night. I told you maybe we should just accept that we'd always have debt, that maybe we were stupid to think we could ever pay it all off. But we didn't quit, they say. We rebuilt that emergency fund. We kept going. And look at us now. We're here. We made it. The food arrives and it looks amazing. You take that first bite, and it tastes better than anything you've had in a long time. Maybe because you're not worried about the cost. Maybe because you're celebrating. Maybe because everything just feels different now. Lighter somehow. Like the world has more color in it than it did yesterday. After breakfast, you walk through downtown holding hands. It's a beautiful day. Warm, but not too hot. A slight breeze. People are out everywhere. Walking dogs, shopping, sitting at outdoor cafes. You used to feel bitter when you saw people spending money freely. It reminded you of what you couldn't have, couldn't do, couldn't afford. But today you don't feel bitter. You feel grateful. Grateful that you made the hard choices. Grateful that you stuck with your plan even when it sucked. Because now you get to be here, in this moment, knowing that your financial life is completely different. You're not rich. You don't have a ton of savings yet, but you're free from debt. And that freedom is worth more than you ever imagined. You pass a bookstore and your partner tugs your hand. Let's go in. I want to buy you something to celebrate. You don't have to do that, you say. I know, but I want to. We've been so careful with money for so long, and we should still be careful, I know. But today, just today, I want to buy you a book. Something you've been wanting. Something that will remind you of this day. Inside the bookstore, you browse the shelves. You pick up a few books, read the back covers, flip through pages, and then you find it. A book you've had on your wish list for months. You show it to your partner, and they smile. Perfect, they say. At the register, they hand over their debit card. No hesitation, no worry, because you can afford this now. $20 for a book isn't going to derail your finances. It's not going on a credit card that will charge you interest. It's just a purchase, a gift, a celebration. Walking home, you keep glancing at the bookstore bag in your hand. Such a small thing, a book, but it feels symbolic. It's the first thing you've bought for pleasure, not necessity, since you started this debt payoff journey. And it feels good. Not guilty, not stressful, just good. Back at home, you finally call your parents. Your mom answers on the second ring. Hey, sweetie, what's going on? Everything okay? Everything's great, Mom. I have news, good news. I made my last debt payment this morning. I'm completely debt-free now. There's a pause, and then you hear her voice crack. Oh, honey. Oh, sweetie, that's wonderful. I'm so proud of you. Hold on. Let me get your dad. You hear her calling for him, hear the excitement in her voice. She did it. She paid off all her debt. Your dad gets on the phone. Is it true? You're really debt-free? Really, truly, you say. Every single penny paid off. I can barely believe it myself. We're so proud of you, he says, and you can hear the emotion in his voice. We know how hard you've worked, how much you've sacrificed. You should be so proud of yourself. I am, you say. I really am. And thank you both for helping me when things got tough, for believing I could do this even when I didn't believe in myself. After you hang up, you sit on the couch with your partner. The whole day feels surreal. Like maybe you'll wake up and realize it was all a dream. But it's not a dream. It's real. You check your bank account one more time just to be sure. Yep. Still real. Still zero balance. That evening, you and your partner order takeout from your favorite restaurant, the one you used to go to before the debt got bad, the one you haven't been able to afford for 3 years. You eat sitting on the floor in your living room, sharing spring rolls and pad thai, talking about the future. So what do we do now? Your partner asks. We've been in debt payoff mode for so long. What's next? You pull out your phone and open a note app. Let's make a list. Let's figure out our priorities now that we have this extra money every month. Emergency fund first, they say. A real one. 6 months of expenses, so we never have to go back into debt if something unexpected happens. You nod and type it in. Emergency fund. That's going to take maybe 8 months to fully fund if we're aggressive about it. What else? Retirement, your partner says. We need to catch up on retirement savings. We're behind because of the debt. Retirement, you type. Maybe we can max out our IRAs once the emergency fund is done. What about a vacation? Don't you think we've earned one? They smile. Definitely. Nothing crazy expensive, but yeah. Somewhere we've always wanted to go. We can save up for it over the next year and then take a real vacation. One where we're not worried about money the whole time. You keep adding to the list. House down payment. New car fund for when your current car finally dies. Wedding fund if you decide to make things official. College fund if you have kids someday. The list grows and grows, and instead of feeling overwhelming like it would have before, it feels exciting. Because these are good goals, positive goals, not just trying to get out of a hole you dug yourself into. Later that night, lying in bed, you can't sleep. You're too wired, too full of this energy and emotion. You think about the last 3 years, all the hard work, all the sacrifice, all the times you wanted to give up but didn't. Every single one of those choices led to this moment, to being here, debt-free, with a chance to build the life you actually want, instead of just surviving. You think about Monday morning, going to work knowing that your entire paycheck is yours now. You don't owe it to credit card companies or loan servicers. It's yours to decide what to do with. You can save it, invest it, spend some of it on things that bring you joy. Whatever you choose, it's your choice now, not dictated by debt. You reach over and take your partner's hand. They squeeze back, half asleep, and you close your eyes, finally letting yourself relax. Tomorrow you'll wake up debt-free, and the next day, and the day after that. For the rest of your life, you'll never have to carry that weight again unless you choose to. This is what freedom feels like, and it's even better than you imagined. Sunday morning you wake up And for just a second, everything feels normal. And then you remember yesterday, the payment, the zero balance. You're debt-free. You grab your phone off the nightstand and check your accounts again, just to make sure it wasn't a dream. Nope. Still real. Still zero. Your partner is still sleeping, so you slip out of bed quietly and head to the kitchen. You make coffee and sit at the table with your laptop. You want to look at your finances with fresh eyes now. Really understand what your new reality looks like. You open your budget spreadsheet and start playing with numbers. If you put $1,000 a month into savings, you'll have $12,000 by this time next year. That's a fully funded emergency fund. Then you could start putting that money toward retirement, or split it. $500 to retirement, $500 to a house fund. The possibilities make your head spin in the best way. You remember when you used to do this same exercise, but in reverse. Figuring out which bills you could pay late, which credit cards could wait another month, how to shuffle money around just to survive. Now you're planning for the future instead of scrambling to cover the past. The difference is incredible. You start scrolling through your emails and you see it. Subject line: congratulations on your payment. It's from the credit card company. You open it, curious. Dear cardholder, thank you for your recent payment. Your current balance is $0. You are paid in full. Almost like they're confirming it's real. It is real. On impulse, you log into every single account you used to owe money to. Student loans, paid in full. Personal loan, closed and paid. The car loan you finally finished 6 months ago. Every single account shows the same thing. Zero balance. Paid, closed, done. You take screenshots of all of them and save them in a folder on your phone. Your debt-free proof. Evidence that you really did this. Your partner wanders into the kitchen, still in pajamas, yawning. They pour coffee and sit across from you. You're looking at finances again, aren't you? They say with a smile. I can't help it, you admit. I keep checking to make sure it's real, and I'm making plans, looking at what we can do now. Show me, they say. So you turn the laptop around and walk them through your spreadsheet. The emergency fund timeline, the retirement projections, the vacation savings. They listen, nodding, adding their own ideas. You know what I want to do? They say. I want to frame something, like print out that zero balance statement and frame it. Put it somewhere we'll see it every day. Reminder of what we accomplished. You love that idea. Yes, let's do that. We can get a nice frame, put it in the living room or the bedroom, somewhere that reminds us we never want to go back to having debt. Later that afternoon, you're scrolling through social media and you see a friend has posted about taking a vacation. Beach photos, tropical drinks, sunset. A year ago, that would have made you jealous, made you feel behind, like you were missing out on life while dealing with debt. Now you just feel happy for them and excited because you know you'll be able to take a trip like that soon. A real trip that you save for and pay cash for. You think about posting something yourself, announcing your debt-free status. But then you hesitate. Money is such a personal thing. Some people might judge you for having debt in the first place. Some might not understand why it's a big deal. You decide to wait. You'll share when it feels right. For now, this achievement is yours and your partner's, private and precious. Your phone rings and it's your best friend. You answer with a smile. Hey, what's up? I'm calling to see if you want to go to that new restaurant downtown tonight. A bunch of us are going. You in? Before, you would have automatically said no, made up an excuse, pretended you were busy when really you just couldn't afford it. But now you pause. Can you afford it? You think about your budget. You have room in your restaurant category for this month. And even if you didn't, you have flexibility now. You're not living on a razor's edge anymore. Actually, yeah, you say. I'd love to come. What time? Your friend sounds surprised. Really? Okay, awesome. 7 o'clock. I'll text you the details. After you hang up, you feel this rush of excitement. You're going out with friends, just like a normal person who isn't buried in debt. You tell your partner about the plans, and they're happy for you. They have plans with their own friends tonight anyway. You both deserve to enjoy yourselves, to reconnect with people you may be pulled away from during the hardest parts of debt payoff, to rebuild those friendships now that you have breathing room again. Getting ready to go out, you stand in front of your closet. You've been wearing the same rotation of clothes for years because you couldn't justify buying anything new. Everything you have is either old or was on clearance. You make a mental note. In a few months, once the emergency fund is built up, you can budget for some new clothes. Not a shopping spree, just a few nice pieces that make you feel good. At the restaurant, your friends are already there. When you arrive, they greet you with hugs and smiles. Everyone's ordering appetizers and drinks. You look at the menu, and nothing has prices that scare you. It's not that you're suddenly rich. It's that you know you can afford this. You have the money in your budget. You're not going to put it on a credit card and regret it later. You order the pasta dish you've been craving and a glass of wine. When the food comes, it's delicious. But even better than the food is the feeling of being present. Really present with your friends. Not distracted by money anxiety. Not mentally calculating if you can afford to be here. Just enjoying the moment, the conversation, the laughter. One of your friends mentions she's stressed about money. Credit card debt piling up. Not sure how to handle it. Everyone else kind of nods sympathetically, but doesn't know what to say. You take a breath. Maybe this is the moment to share. I was in that exact situation a few years ago, you say. Actually, I just paid off my last debt yesterday. I'm completely debt-free now. The table goes quiet for a second. Then everyone starts talking at once. Really? That's amazing. How did you do it? How long did it take? Your friend who mentioned money stress leans in. Seriously, tell me how you did it. I need help. So you tell your story, not all the details, but the basics. How bad it got, how you made a plan, how you stuck to it even when it was hard, how you cut expenses and increased income and tracked every dollar, how there were moments you wanted to quit but you kept pushing, how the snowball started small but picked up momentum, how paying off each debt felt like a small victory that fueled the next one. Your friends listen, really listen. Some of them have questions. Some have debt themselves and want to know more. Some are just impressed and proud of you. You exchange numbers with the friend who asked for help. Promise to send her some resources, maybe meet for coffee and go over her budget. It feels good to help. To know that your struggle might make someone else's journey easier. and it makes you realize how far you've come. A few days ago, you were still in debt. Now you're the person who made it to the other side, the person who can help others. When the bill comes, everyone splits it evenly. Your portion is $38. You pull out your debit card without hesitation. A year ago, $38 for dinner would have stressed you out for days, would have meant cutting back somewhere else. Now it's just dinner, just a normal night out with friends. The shift is subtle but profound. Walking to your car after dinner, you feel this warmth in your chest, gratitude, joy, pride. You're proud of yourself for sticking with your debt payoff plan, for making the hard choices, for saying no to so many things so you could say yes to financial freedom. And now you get to reap the benefits. Now you get to live without that constant weight of debt. Driving home, you think about work tomorrow, Monday morning. Usually you dread Mondays, the alarm, the commute, the grind. But tomorrow feels different. You're going to work not because you're desperate, not because you're drowning in debt. You're going because it's part of your plan, your choice. You could save up and quit this job if you wanted. Get more training, switch careers. The options are open now in a way they weren't before. At home, your partner is already back, watching TV on the couch. You tell them about dinner, about sharing your debt-free story, about offering to help your friend. They listen and smile. That's great. I'm glad you're sharing it. People need to hear these stories. They need to know it's possible. You cuddle up next to them on the couch. Some mindless comedy is playing, but you're not really watching. You're thinking about the future, about the life you're building, about how different everything feels now that debt isn't controlling you. Monday morning, your alarm goes off and you don't hate it. You get up, get ready, drive to work. But the whole time you're thinking about your paycheck. It's going to hit your account on Friday. And for the first time in 3 years, none of it is already spent on debt payments. At work, you check your email and there's a message from HR. Open enrollment for benefits is coming up. You need to review your options. Usually you just pick the cheapest everything because that's all you could afford. But this year you actually read through the options. You could upgrade your health insurance. You could increase your 401k contribution. You could add dental and vision coverage you've been going without. You make notes to discuss with your partner tonight. This is what financial breathing room looks like. Being able to make choices based on what's best for you, not just what you can barely afford. It's a small thing, but it feels significant. Every little choice adds up to a completely different life. During your lunch break, you check your bank account on your phone. Force of habit. But instead of the usual anxiety, you just feel calm. Your checking account has money in it. Your savings account is growing. Your credit cards show zero balance. Everything is okay. More than okay. Everything is actually good. That evening, you and your partner sit down to update your budget for real. No more debt payments line item. Instead, you add new categories. Emergency fund, retirement, house fund, vacation fund, fun, money. The spreadsheet looks completely different now. Instead of most of your income going to the past, it's going to the future. We should set up automatic transfers, your partner suggests. So we're saving before we have a chance to spend it. Pay ourselves first, right? Good idea, you agree. You pull up your bank's website and start setting up the transfers. 500 to emergency fund on the first of every month, 200 to retirement, 100 to vacation fund. The money moves automatically, building your future while you sleep. You know what? Your partner says, I think we should celebrate bigger than just breakfast and dinner. We paid off $68,000. That's huge. We should do something to really mark this achievement. Like what? You ask. Let's take a weekend trip. Not far, not expensive, but something. A couple nights at a bed and breakfast somewhere nice. Go hiking, have good meals, just enjoy being debt-free together. We can save up for it over the next couple months and then go. You smile. I love that. Let's do it. Let's plan a real celebration trip. Over the next few days, you find yourself just feeling lighter. Like literally physically lighter, even though nothing about your body has changed. It's your mind that's different. The constant background stress of debt is gone. You didn't even realize how much mental energy it was taking until it was gone. You sleep better. You wake up less stressed. Little things that would have bothered you before just don't anymore. Because you have this foundation now, this security. Money isn't solved. You're not wealthy, but you're stable in a way you haven't been in years. Wednesday afternoon, your car makes a weird noise. Your stomach drops for just a second, that old panic response. Car trouble means money. But then you remember, you have an emergency fund. If the car needs repair, you can handle it. You're not going to have to put it on a credit card and go back into debt. You have cash set aside for exactly this kind of thing. You take the car to a mechanic. It's a minor issue, costs $300 to fix. You hand over your debit card. The mechanic fixes it. You drive away, and that's it. No debt, no panic, no juggling other bills to cover it. Just a normal car repair that you paid for with cash, the way things should be. Thursday evening, you get a credit card offer in the mail. 0% interest for 12 months, rewards points, sign-up bonus. Before, you might have been tempted. Free money, right? But now you just laugh and throw it in the recycling. You don't need their credit. You don't want their credit. You're done with that game. Friday morning, payday. You check your account and see the deposit. And then you just sit there looking at it. Because all of that money is yours. The full amount. You're not sending half of it to debt. It's yours to allocate how you choose. Savings, expenses, whatever you decide. The control is intoxicating. You transfer money to all your savings goals. Emergency fund grows. Vacation fund grows. House fund starts. Retirement gets funded. And even after all that, you still have money left over for regular expenses and a little fun. It's not a huge amount, but it's yours, free and clear. That night, you and your partner go out to celebrate your first debt-free paycheck. Nothing fancy, just your favorite local spot. But it feels special. You toast with your drinks. To financial freedom, your partner says. To never going back, you add. You clink glasses and drink. Walking home that night, hand in hand, you look up at the stars. It's a clear night, and they're bright. Everything feels possible now. Not easy, but possible. You prove to yourself that you can set a huge goal and achieve it. If you can pay off $68,000 in 3 years, what else can you do? What other goals can you tackle? Maybe you'll go back to school, learn something new, change careers, start a business, travel the world, buy a house, have kids, retire early. Whatever you want to do, it's more achievable now that you're not starting from a position of debt. Now that every dollar you earn can go toward building up instead of digging out. Your partner squeezes your hand. What are you thinking about? Everything, you say. The future, what we want to do with our lives, all the possibilities. Good possibilities? They ask. The best possibilities, you say, and you mean it. This is just the beginning. Being debt-free isn't the end goal. It's the starting line. Now the real building begins. Now you get to create the life you actually want, instead of just surviving the life you have. And that thought, that realization, fills you with this incredible energy, this hope, this excitement for what comes next. You're not scared of the future anymore. You're ready for it, ready to build wealth, take opportunities, live fully, all because you made the choice to get out of debt, all because you did the hard work. And it was so worth it. 2 weeks into being debt-free, and you're starting to adjust to this new normal. It's Saturday morning again, and you're at the grocery store. Usually grocery shopping stressed you out. Trying to stay under budget, calculating prices in your head, choosing the cheapest option for everything. But today you walk through the aisles without that knot in your stomach. You pick up the good coffee, the kind you always wanted but couldn't justify. It's $6 more than your usual brand. $6 that used to feel like a fortune. Now it's just $6. You put it in your cart without guilt. You grab fresh vegetables instead of frozen. The nicer bread instead of the cheapest loaf. Nothing crazy, nothing extravagant, just slightly better quality, because you can afford it now. At checkout, the total is higher than usual, but still within your grocery budget. You swipe your debit card and it approves instantly. You know it will. You know you have the money. That certainty, that confidence is new. A few months ago, you'd be holding your breath, hoping the card didn't decline. Back home, putting away groceries, your partner notices the good coffee. Oh, did you splurge? They tease. A little, you admit, but we can afford little splurges now, within reason. I know, they say. I bought myself a new book yesterday. Not from the library, an actual new book. First one I've bought in years. It felt so good. You're both learning this balance. You spent so long denying yourselves everything that now you're figuring out how to enjoy life without going overboard. How to spend money on things that bring joy without falling back into old patterns. How to have fun and still save aggressively. How to live life now while also building for the future. It's a learning process, but you're getting there. Each small purchase feels like practice, like retraining your brain to understand that spending money isn't automatically bad, that you can enjoy things without guilt, as long as you're staying within your budget. Your phone buzzes with a text from your friend, the one you offered to help with her debt. She wants to know if you have time to meet this week and go over some stuff. You text back immediately, yes, absolutely. You set up a coffee date for Tuesday after work. Sunday afternoon, you're cleaning out the closet and you find old bills stuffed in a box. Credit card statements from years ago. Late payment notices. Collection letters. You sit on the floor reading through them, and it's like looking at a different person's life. These balances, these interest charges, the desperate feeling you remember having when these arrived. You should probably keep them for records, but you don't want to. You want to get rid of this evidence of your past financial mess. So you grab a trash bag and start shredding. Every statement, every bill, every reminder of that time. It feels therapeutic, cathartic, like you're physically getting rid of that version of your life. Your partner finds you surrounded by shredded paper. Spring cleaning? They ask. Debt-free cleaning, you say, getting rid of all these old bills. I don't need them anymore. I don't want them anymore. That chapter is closed. They help you bag up the shredded paper and take it to the recycling. When you come back inside, your closet looks cleaner, lighter, like your whole life feels now. Monday at work, your boss calls you into her office. For a second you panic, but then you remember you're not in trouble. You're doing well. She probably just wants to discuss something routine. You walk in, and she's smiling. Have a seat, she says. I wanted to talk to you about something. We've been really impressed with your work lately. You've taken on extra projects, shown great initiative. We'd like to offer you a promotion. It comes with a 15% raise. You stare at her. A promotion, a raise, 15% more money. A year ago, this would have felt like salvation, like maybe you could finally breathe with more income. But now it feels like opportunity, like possibilities opening up even wider than they already were. Wow, you say, thank you. I'd love to accept. She goes over the details, new responsibilities, new title. The raise goes into effect next pay period. You shake her hand and walk back to your desk, feeling like you're floating. More money. Money that doesn't need to go to debt. Money that can go straight to your goals. You text your partner immediately. Got a promotion. 15% raise. They text back a string of excited emojis and congratulations. We're celebrating tonight, they write. Your choice where we go. You think about it. There's that steakhouse you've always wanted to try. The one that's expensive, but not crazy expensive. Tonight feels like the right time. At dinner that night, the steakhouse is everything you hoped. Dim lighting, comfortable booths, amazing food. You order the steak you want, not the cheapest option on the menu. Your partner gets lobster. You share a bottle of wine. When the bill comes, it's over $100 for the two of you. A year ago, that would have sent you into a panic spiral, guilt, anxiety, regret. How are we going to afford this? Why did we do this? This was a mistake. But tonight you just feel happy. You budgeted for this. You have money in your account. The bill is high, but it's not crushing. It's just a nice dinner to celebrate good news. To your promotion, your partner says, raising their wine glass, and to being able to celebrate it without stress. To us, you say, for getting here together. Tuesday after work, you meet your friend at a coffee shop. She brings a folder full of bills, statements, scribbled notes about her debt. You can see the stress on her face. You remember wearing that same expression not so long ago. Thank you for doing this, she says. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start. Let's just go through everything, you say. Figure out exactly what you owe, what the interest rates are, what your income and expenses look like. Then we can make a plan. You spend 2 hours going through her finances. It's not as bad as she thought, which relieves her, but it's still significant. $23,000 in credit card and medical debt. You help her create a budget, identify where she can cut expenses, brainstorm ways to increase income. You show her the debt snowball method that worked for you. By the end, she has a plan, a realistic timeline, hope in her eyes that wasn't there when she walked in. "You really think I can do this?" she asks. Her voice is shaking. You can see she wants to believe it, but she's scared. Scared of failing, scared of how long it will take, scared it's impossible. "I know you can," you say. "I did it. I was where you are, maybe even worse off. And if you stick to this plan, you'll be debt-free in about 2 years. Maybe less if you find ways to throw extra money at it. I'll help you. You can text me anytime you need support or have questions. You don't have to do this alone." She hugs you when you leave. "Thank you so much. This is the first time in months I've felt like maybe I can actually get out of this." Walking to your car, you feel this profound satisfaction. Helping her felt good, really good. Maybe that's something you could do more of. Financial coaching, helping people get out of debt. You file that idea away to think about later. Wednesday night, you and your partner sit down to review your finances. Your emergency fund is at $3,000 now, growing steadily. At this rate, you'll have 6 months of expenses saved in about 7 more months. You've increased your 401k contribution at work, started investing in a Roth IRA. The retirement projections look so much better than they did when you were in debt. "We should talk about the house fund," your partner says. "Do we really want to buy a house? Is that a goal?" You think about it. "I don't know. I used to think we had to. That's what you're supposed to do, right? But now that we actually have choices, I'm not sure. Maybe we travel more instead. Maybe we stay renting and invest the difference." "We don't have to decide now," they say. "Let's just keep saving and see how we feel in a year or 2. When the emergency fund is done and we've got some retirement savings built up, then we can make big decisions about the future." You nod. That feels right. No rush, no pressure, just building security and options. Having choices is the real gift of being debt-free. The weekend comes and you and your partner drive out to the mountains for that celebration trip you planned. A little bed and breakfast in a small town, hiking trails, good restaurants. Nothing extravagant, but perfect for what you need. A weekend away to really mark this achievement. The B&B is charming. Old house, comfortable rooms, amazing breakfast included. You drop your bags and immediately head out for a hike. The trail winds through pine trees, up to a viewpoint overlooking the valley. The air is crisp and clean. You breathe deep and feel this overwhelming sense of peace. At the viewpoint, you and your partner sit on a rock, looking out at the mountains. "Remember when we didn't think we could afford anything like this?" your partner says. "When a weekend trip felt impossible." "I remember," you say, "but we saved for this. We budgeted for it. We're not putting it on credit cards. This is what financial freedom looks like. Being able to do things we enjoy without guilt or debt." You take a selfie with the mountains behind you. Maybe you will post this one on social media. not to brag, just to share this moment, this joy. You caption it simply, celebrating being debt-free with a weekend away. 3 years of hard work, totally worth it. Saturday evening, you have dinner at a farm-to-table restaurant in town. Everything is locally sourced, beautifully prepared. You try dishes you've never heard of. The meal is incredible. Expensive by your standards, but planned for and saved for. You savor every bite, not just because the food is good, but because you earned this meal, this weekend, this freedom. After dinner, you walk through the small downtown area. Art galleries, boutique shops, a bookstore. You go into the bookstore and browse together. Your partner finds a cookbook they've been wanting. You find a novel that looks interesting. You buy both books without hesitation. Again, nothing crazy expensive, but buying books just because you want them, not because they're essential, feels luxurious. Back at the B&B, you sit on the porch swing watching the sunset. The sky turns orange and pink and purple. It's beautiful and quiet and perfect. I'm really proud of us, your partner says, for everything we did to get here, for not giving up. Me too, you say. There were so many times I wanted to quit, when it felt too hard, too long, too impossible. But we kept going. And look at us now. What do you think the next 3 years will look like? They ask. You think about it. I think we'll build wealth, real wealth, not just getting to zero. I think we'll have options, maybe travel more, maybe change careers, maybe have kids if we want. Whatever we choose, we'll be choosing from a position of strength instead of desperation. Sunday morning, the B&B breakfast is amazing. Fresh pastries, local eggs, homemade jam. You eat slowly, not rushing. After breakfast, one more hike before heading home. This trail goes past a waterfall. The water crashes over rocks, creating this constant soothing sound. You stand there for a while, just listening, just being present. Driving home that afternoon, you feel refreshed, recharged. This weekend was exactly what you needed. A real break, a real celebration, a real acknowledgement of what you accomplished. And you did it without creating new debt, without stress, just planned, saved for, and enjoyed. At home, you check your social media and see dozens of comments on your debt-free post. Friends congratulating you, strangers asking how you did it, people sharing their own debt struggles. You spend the evening responding to messages, offering encouragement, pointing people toward resources that helped you. One message stands out. It's from someone you went to high school with but haven't talked to in years. They write that they've been drowning in debt, felt hopeless, but seeing your post gave them hope. They're going to make a plan. They're going to try. Your story made them believe it's possible. You write back immediately, offering support, sharing more of your story. This is what it's about, you realize. Not just getting yourself out of debt, but showing others it can be done. Being proof that financial freedom is achievable even when it seems impossible. Monday morning, back at work with your new promotion responsibilities. The work is more challenging, but you're ready for it. And knowing that you're being paid more, that your financial situation is solid, that you have savings and no debt, makes it easier to focus. You're not distracted by money stress. You can actually concentrate on doing good work. At lunch, a coworker mentions they're struggling with credit card debt. You tell them you just got out of debt yourself and you'd be happy to help if they want. They light up, say they'd love that. You exchange numbers. Add another coffee date to your calendar. Another opportunity to help someone else find their way to freedom. That week, your first bigger paycheck hits, the promotion raise. You log into your account and just stare at the number. It's the most you've ever made, and all of it is available to use how you choose. No debt eating it up. You immediately increase your automatic savings transfers, more to emergency fund, more to retirement, starting a travel fund. The money grows in your accounts and it feels powerful. Not the money itself, but what it represents. Security, options, freedom, the ability to handle emergencies, the ability to take opportunities, the ability to build the life you want instead of just surviving. Friday evening, you're making dinner, and your partner gets the mail. They bring in a stack and sort through it. Bills, junk mail, and then something else. They hold up an envelope with your name on it, handwritten. You open it curiously. Inside is a thank you card from your friend, the one you helped with her budget. The card says thank you for your help, for your time, for giving her hope. She's been following the plan you made together, and she's already paid off her first credit card. $800 gone. It felt impossible before, but now she believes she can do this. She included a small gift card to your favorite coffee place. A small gesture, but it means everything. You show the card to your partner. She paid off her first card already. That's amazing. I'm so proud of her. You helped her do that, your partner says. You gave her the tools and the encouragement. That's special. You put the card on the fridge, a reminder that your journey didn't just benefit you. It ripples out. It helps others. And that makes all the sacrifice, all the hard work, even more meaningful. That night, lying in bed, you think about how much has changed in just a few weeks. You're debt-free. You got a promotion. You're helping others get out of debt. You're building savings and investing for retirement. You took a weekend trip without stress. You're buying little things that bring joy without guilt. Your life isn't perfect. You're not rich. You still have challenges and problems. But the crushing weight of debt is gone. And that one change has made everything else feel more manageable, more possible, more hopeful. You turn to your partner. Thank you for doing this with me, for supporting me through the hard parts. I couldn't have done it without you. They squeeze your hand. We did it together. That's what matters. And we're going to keep building together, keep making our lives better, keep helping each other and helping others. You close your eyes, feeling grateful and content and excited for whatever comes next. This is just the beginning of your debt-free life, and it's already better than you ever imagined it could be. 3 months into being debt-free, and life has settled into a new rhythm, a better rhythm. Saturday morning, you're at the farmer's market with your partner, something you couldn't afford to do regularly when you had debt. You walk through the stalls looking at fresh produce, local honey, handmade bread. You buy more than you need because you can. Because supporting local farmers feels good, and you have the financial flexibility to make that choice. At one stall, you see the woman who helped you when you were struggling with debt years ago. She was a mentor, someone who'd been through bankruptcy and came out the other side. You haven't seen her in months. She recognizes you immediately, and her face lights up. "How are you doing?" she asks, and you can tell she really wants to know. She remembers where you were, the mess you were in. "I'm debt-free," you say, and saying it still feels surreal. "Completely paid off everything. It took 3 years, but I did it." She hugs you right there in the middle of the farmer's market. "I'm so proud of you. I knew you could do it. I saw that determination in you when we first talked. How does it feel?" "It feels like I can breathe again," you say. "Like I'm not drowning anymore. I'm actually building something now instead of just treading water." You tell her about helping others with their debt now, about the friends and co-workers you've mentored. She nods knowingly. That's what happens when you make it through. You want to pull others up behind you. It's a beautiful thing. Walking away from her stall, bags of fresh vegetables in hand, you feel this connection to something bigger. This community of people who've struggled with debt and made it out, who help each other, encourage each other, celebrate each other's victories. You're part of that now, not just someone who got lucky or had it easy, someone who did the hard work and made it through. Back home, you're putting away the groceries when your phone rings. It's your dad. "Hey kiddo, your mom and I were talking. We want to take you and your partner out to dinner tonight to celebrate. We know it's been a few months, but we want to properly celebrate your debt-free achievement, our treat." "You don't have to do that," you say, but you're touched by the offer. "We want to," he insists. "We're so proud of you. Let us do this. Pick anywhere you want to go." You choose the nice Italian place your parents love. Tonight at 7, you tell your partner about the dinner plans, and they smile. "Your parents are the best. Let's get them something. A thank you gift for all their support." At the bookstore, you find a beautiful coffee table book about Italy, your parents' favorite place they've always dreamed of visiting. It's expensive, but it's worth it. You can afford to do this now, to show appreciation with gifts, not just words. You have the book gift wrapped and bring it to dinner. At the restaurant, your parents are already there waiting. They stand up when you arrive, hugs all around. Your mom looks at you with tears in her eyes. "We're just so proud," she says again. "You worked so hard. We saw you sacrifice so much, and you did it." Over dinner, you tell them about your promotion, your savings goals, the people you're helping. Your dad listens carefully, asking questions, offering advice from his own financial experiences. Your mom just keeps smiling at you, like you hung the moon. When you give them the book about Italy, your mom actually cries. "This is beautiful," she says, flipping through the pages. "Maybe someday we'll really go there." "You should," you say. "You've worked hard your whole lives. You deserve to see the places you've dreamed about." Your dad squeezes your hand. "We're just glad we got to help you when you needed it. That's what family is for, supporting each other." Later that week, you're at your desk at work when you get an email from your boss. She wants to know if you'd be interested in traveling for a conference next month. It would be good for your career development. The company would pay for everything. Your first thought used to be fear, missing work, falling behind, not being able to afford anything extra. But now you just feel excited, an opportunity to learn, network, grow? You reply yes immediately, and then you start thinking about the logistics. The conference is in a city you've always wanted to visit. You could take a couple extra days, turn it into a mini vacation, use some of your vacation fund money, see the sights, enjoy the city. When you mention this idea to your partner, they love it. You should definitely extend the trip, they say. This is exactly what that vacation fund is for. Experiences, memories, living life instead of just surviving it. You book the extra hotel nights, plan some activities, get excited about the trip. This is what financial freedom enables. Not just paying bills and surviving, but actually living, taking opportunities, having experiences, building a rich life in all the ways that matter. Your emergency fund hits the 6-month mark. You have enough savings to cover all your expenses for half a year if something catastrophic happened. Looking at that balance, you feel this deep sense of security you've never had before. You're not invincible, but you're prepared. You can handle whatever life throws at you without going back into debt. You and your partner celebrate by updating your financial goals. With the emergency fund complete, you can now put that money toward other things. More retirement savings, the travel fund, starting to save for a potential house someday, or maybe early retirement. The options feel endless. I've been thinking, your partner says, what if we set a goal to retire early? Like, not in our 60s, in our 50s, or even late 40s if we're really aggressive about it. The idea intrigues you. That would mean saving even more, living below our means even though we can afford more now. I know, they say, but we're already good at that. We've been doing it for 3 years. What if we keep that same intensity, but redirect it toward building wealth instead of paying off debt? You think about it, early retirement, financial independence, not having to work unless you want to, the freedom to pursue passion projects, travel, volunteer, whatever calls to you. Let's do it, you decide. Let's aim for early retirement. We've proven we can hit big financial goals. Why not go for an even bigger one? You start researching early retirement strategies, the FIRE movement, index fund investing, maximizing tax-advantaged accounts, geo-arbitrage. All these concepts that seemed irrelevant when you were buried in debt. Now they're possibilities, tools you can use to build the life you want. You read blogs from people who retired in their 30s and 40s. You listen to podcasts about financial independence. You join online forums full of people on the same path. It's exciting to discover this whole community of people who think differently about money and work, who prioritize freedom over status, who live below their means by choice. You create a new spreadsheet, projections for early retirement. If you save 50% of your income and invest it wisely, you could potentially retire in 15 years. You'd be in your early 40s, still young enough to enjoy decades of freedom. The math is exciting, motivating, a new mountain to climb. Your friend who you helped with her budget sends you a text. She paid off another credit card, $3,000 down. She's over a quarter of the way through her debt payoff journey. She's doing it, following the plan, staying consistent. You send back a string of celebration emojis and words of encouragement. You remember that feeling of progress, of momentum. It's addictive in the best way. The conference trip arrives, and it's everything you hoped. The sessions are informative. You meet interesting people in your field. You learn new skills. And the extra days you took to explore the city are magical. You visit museums, try new restaurants, walk through historic neighborhoods. You take hundreds of photos. You buy souvenirs without guilt. One evening, sitting at an outdoor cafe watching the sunset, you video call your partner back home. "I wish you were here," you say. "This city is incredible." "Tell me about it," they say. So you turn the phone around, showing them the view, the old buildings, the street performers, the energy of the place. "We should come back together," you say. "Save up and take a real vacation here." "Let's do it," they agree. Add it to the travel list. You've started keeping a travel wish list, places you want to see, experiences you want to have. Now that you're debt-free and building wealth, these dreams feel achievable. Not someday in the distant future. Soon, in the next few years. Real trips you'll actually take. Back home from the trip, you settle back into routine. But it's a good routine now. Work that you're engaged in because you're not stressed about money. Savings that grow automatically. Investments that compound. A relationship that's stronger because you're not fighting about finances. Friends and family you can say yes to because you have the flexibility. You get a letter in the mail from the bank where you had your biggest credit card. They're offering you a new card with a huge limit and great rewards. You laugh and throw it away. You don't need their card. You don't want their card. You're done playing that game. Cash and debit cards only. That's your rule now, and you're sticking to it. At work, a younger coworker mentions she's thinking about buying a new car on credit. She doesn't really need it. Her current car works fine, but the new model is so nice. You pull her aside during break. "Can I tell you something? From experience?" She nods, curious. You tell her about your debt journey, about how quick it is to get into debt and how long it takes to get out, about the stress and the weight of it, about the freedom of being debt-free. If your current car works, keep driving it, you advise. Save up the cash for a new one. You'll appreciate it so much more knowing you own it outright. She listens, really considers what you're saying. "I never thought about it that way. I guess I just assumed everyone has car payments, you know? It's normal." "It's common," you say, "but it doesn't have to be normal for you. You get to choose differently." You're becoming that person, the one who talks about money differently, who helps others see options they didn't know existed, who proves that financial freedom is possible, even if it's not easy. It feels good to be that person, to use your hard-won wisdom to help others. 6 months debt-free now. Half a year of living without that crushing weight. Your savings account has a 5-figure balance. Your retirement accounts are growing. You're on track with your early retirement projections. Everything in your financial life is pointing up instead of down. You and your partner go out for your 6-month debt-free celebration. Just the two of you. The restaurant where you had your first date years ago. It feels full circle somehow. You were so broke on that first date, worried about how you'd split the bill. Now you can order whatever you want and not stress about it. "Remember what a mess I was when we met?" you say. "Credit cards maxed out, student loans hanging over me, no plan for getting out of it?" "I remember," your partner says. but I also saw your potential. I saw that you were smart and hardworking. I knew you'd figure it out. We figured it out together, you correct. You supported me even when it meant sacrificing things you wanted. You never complained about the budget or the tight times. You were all in with me. Because I believed in us, they say. I believed we could build something good together. And look at us now. We're building it. You raise your glass to 6 months of freedom and to many more years of building wealth together. They clink their glass against yours. To us, to financial freedom, to the life we're creating. Walking home that night, holding hands under the streetlights, you think about how far you've come. From drowning in debt to thriving debt-free. From stressed and hopeless to confident and optimistic. From survival mode to building mode. The transformation is remarkable. And the best part? This is just the beginning. You have decades ahead of you to keep building, keep growing, keep achieving. Debt-free isn't the finish line. It's the starting point for everything else you want to do with your life. That weekend, you volunteer at a financial literacy workshop at the community center. You tell your debt-free story to a room full of people struggling with money. You see yourself in their faces, the stress, the fear, the hope that maybe there's a way out. You share practical advice, actionable steps, encouragement. After the workshop, people come up to thank you, to ask follow-up questions, to get your contact info so they can reach out for help. You exchange information with several people, promise to follow up, offer continued support. This is becoming a calling, you realize. Not just getting yourself out of debt, but helping others do the same. You start thinking seriously about making this official. Maybe getting certified as a financial coach, starting a side business helping people with debt, turning your painful experience into something that serves others. The idea excites you more than anything has in a long time. You research financial coaching programs, look at certifications, requirements, costs. It would be an investment, but you can afford it now. You have savings. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. You can invest in yourself and your future. This is what financial freedom enables. Not just surviving, but thriving. Not just existing, but growing. Your partner is supportive when you tell them about the coaching idea. You'd be amazing at that. You're already doing it informally. Why not make it official? It would take time, you say. Getting certified, building a client base, marketing myself. It might not make money for a while. We can afford for you to try, they point out. That's the beauty of being debt-free and having savings. You have room to take calculated risks, to pursue things that matter to you, even if they don't immediately pay off. You nod, feeling that truth settle in. You have options now, flexibility, the ability to say yes to opportunities without fear of financial ruin. This is the real gift of becoming debt-free. Not just the absence of debt, but the presence of possibility. You enroll in a financial coaching certification program. The investment is significant but manageable. You create a payment plan from your savings, budget for the monthly costs. You start studying, learning not just about debt payoff, but about overall financial wellness, behavior change, coaching techniques. The months continue passing. 7 months debt-free, 8 months, 9. Each month feels more normal and less surreal. This is your life now. Stable finances, growing savings, clear goals, helping others. You almost forget what it was like to be crushed by debt. Almost. But not quite. You never want to forget. That memory keeps you motivated, keeps you on track. Your retirement accounts hit 6 figures, combined between you and your partner, over $100,000 invested for your future. When you look at the projection charts, you can see clearly how you'll be able to retire early if you keep this up. The math works. The dream is achievable. You screenshot the account balances and send them to your partner at work. Look at this. We're doing it. They respond with excitement. We're going to make it. We're actually going to retire early and live the life we want. It doesn't feel like a fantasy anymore. It feels like a plan that's working. You think about the old you, the one buried in debt, hopeless, convinced you'd never get out. If you could go back and tell that version of yourself that in just a few years you'd be debt-free, saving aggressively, planning early retirement, helping others, they wouldn't believe it. It would seem impossible, a fairy tale. But you're living it. It's real. And it all started with making one hard decision, the decision to stop ignoring the problem and start facing it, to create a plan and stick to it no matter how long it took, to sacrifice now for freedom later. That decision changed everything. And now you get to live in that everything. This beautiful life where money doesn't control you, where you have choices, where you're building wealth, where you're helping others, where you're planning a future full of possibilities instead of drowning in a past full of mistakes. This is financial freedom, and it's even better than you ever dreamed it could be. 1 year. 365 days since you made that final debt payment. It's Saturday morning and you're sitting at the same kitchen table where this journey reached its peak. You have your laptop open, looking at your financial dashboard. The numbers still amaze you even though you see them every day now. Emergency fund, fully loaded. 6 months of expenses sitting safely in a high-yield savings account. Retirement accounts growing steadily. A travel fund with enough for 2 big trips this year. A house fund that's getting substantial. No debt. Not a single penny owed to anyone. The transformation is complete, and yet it's still ongoing. You're not just debt-free. You're building wealth. Your partner comes into the kitchen and kisses the top of your head. 1 year anniversary, they say. How do you want to celebrate? You think about it. I want to help someone else get started on their debt-free journey. Make a donation to that financial literacy nonprofit we volunteered with, and then maybe take ourselves out for a really nice dinner. Perfect, they say. That's exactly right. You write a check to the nonprofit, $250. A year ago, that amount would have been impossible. Now it's a joy to give. To support an organization helping people like you used to be. People drowning in debt who need guidance and hope. Your money can do that now. Can help others. Can make a difference beyond just your own life. You've officially become a certified financial coach. You finished the program 3 months ago and started taking clients. Word of mouth has been incredible. Friends of friends, co-workers, people from the workshops you've led. You have a small but growing client base. People who trust you because you've been where they are. You're not some expert who never struggled. You're someone who climbed out of the hole and is reaching back to help others. Your coaching business isn't replacing your day job income yet, but it's bringing in a few $100s a month. More importantly, it's bringing joy, purpose, the satisfaction of seeing people you've helped pay off their first credit card, create their first budget, start building their first emergency fund. You're changing lives, including your own. One of your first clients sends you an email. Just wanted to let you know I made my final debt payment this morning. 18 months ago, I was $80,000 in debt. Today, I'm free. Thank you for showing me it was possible and giving me the tools to get here. I'll be forever grateful. You read that email 3 times. Then you call your partner into the room and read it out loud. She did it, you say, your voice catching. She was in so much debt, and now she's free. We helped her get there. Your partner hugs you. You helped her. This is what you're meant to do. Help people find financial freedom. You frame that email and put it on the wall of the small home office you've set up for your coaching business. Your first major success story. The first of many, you hope. Evidence that this work matters, that sharing your story and your strategies can actually change people's lives. You think about her journey, $80,000 in 18 months. That's aggressive. That's dedication. And you helped her see it was possible, helped her create the roadmap, helped her stay accountable. This is what it's about. Not just your own freedom, but helping others find theirs too. You and your partner book the trips you've been planning. 2 weeks in Europe in the spring, a road trip along the coast in the fall. Both paid for in cash from your travel fund. No credit cards, no debt. Just trips you saved for and can fully enjoy without financial stress hanging over you. Planning these trips feels different than it would have years ago. You're not looking for the cheapest possible options. You're looking for the best value. Quality experiences at reasonable prices. You can afford to stay in nice hotels, eat at good restaurants, take guided tours, buy souvenirs. Not unlimited spending, but comfortable spending within your budget. You start researching Europe, places you want to see, things you want to do. Paris, Rome, Barcelona, cities you've dreamed about visiting your whole life. And now you're actually going, not someday in some distant future, in 4 months. It's real, booked, happening. This is what debt freedom enables. Living the life you want instead of just surviving the life you have. Your parents call to share news. They've decided to finally take that trip to Italy. They've been saving and planning. They want to go next year, spend a month there, really experience it. They sound excited in a way you haven't heard in years. Lighter, younger. I think watching you get out of debt inspired us, your mom admits. You were so determined, so disciplined. It made us realize we've been too cautious with money, too afraid to enjoy what we've worked for. We're not getting any younger. Time to actually live. You feel proud hearing that. Proud that your journey impacted them positively, that your example showed them it's possible to be financially responsible and still enjoy life, to save for the future, but also live in the present. It's a balance you're still figuring out, but getting better at every day. Your work promotion continues going well. You're thriving in the new role. learning constantly, building skills. But you're also thinking about the future differently now. You don't see yourself doing this job forever. Maybe in a few years you transition to coaching full-time, or maybe you find something completely different. The point is you have options. You're not trapped by financial necessity. You can make choices based on what you actually want. You attend a financial independence meetup in your city, a group of people all working toward early retirement. It's inspiring to be around others who share your goals, who understand the sacrifices and the rewards. You exchange stories, strategies, encouragement. Someone mentions they paid off their house last year. Someone else hit their first 100,000 invested. Everyone is at a different stage but moving in the same direction: freedom. At the meetup, you meet someone who changed careers at 40, left a high-paying job they hated for a lower-paying job they love. They can do it because they're debt-free and have significant savings. They took a calculated risk and it paid off with happiness and fulfillment. You tuck that story away. A reminder that financial freedom isn't just about money. It's about life choices. You're invited to speak at a local college about personal finance. The student organization wants someone to talk about student loans and avoiding debt. You prepare a presentation. Your story, practical advice, a realistic look at what debt does to your life and how to avoid it or get out of it. You're nervous but excited. The presentation goes well. The room is packed with students who actually seem interested. They ask thoughtful questions, take notes. Several come up afterward to thank you for being real with them, for not sugarcoating how hard debt payoff is, but also showing them it's possible. One student tells you his parents are drowning in debt, and he's scared of ending up the same way. Another says she's already 20,000 in student loans and hasn't even graduated yet. You give them all the resources you wish you'd had at their age. Websites, books, strategies. You leave feeling like maybe you prevented a few of them from making the same mistakes you did. Maybe you saved them years of struggle and stress. One student emails you the next day. Your talk really impacted me. I've been living on student loans and credit cards, not really thinking about the future. After hearing you, I'm making changes, getting a job, creating a budget, being more careful. Thank you for the wake-up call. These moments keep happening. People reaching out to say your story helped them, changed them, motivated them. It's humbling and inspiring. It makes all the sacrifice you went through feel meaningful. Like it wasn't just about you getting out of debt. It was about learning lessons that could help others avoid or escape that same trap. Your financial coaching business is picking up. You have 10 regular clients now. You're helping them tackle everything from credit card debt to student loans to just general financial organization. Each client's situation is unique, but the principles are the same. Spend less than you earn. Track every dollar. Have a plan. Stay consistent. Celebrate progress. You start a blog about your debt-free journey, writing about the struggles, the strategies, the emotions, the victories. You share your actual numbers, your budget, your mistakes, raw honesty about what it really took. The blog starts getting traffic. People comment, sharing their own stories, asking questions, building community. Someone suggests you start a podcast, interview other people who've become debt-free, share different stories, different paths, different perspectives. You love the idea. You research equipment, learn about editing, plan your first few episodes. Another project, another way to help people, another step toward making this your full-time work. The Europe trip arrives and it exceeds every expectation. Walking through Paris with your partner, seeing the Eiffel Tower lit up at night, eating pasta in a small Roman restaurant, watching the sunset over Barcelona from Park Güell. Every moment feels precious because you know what it took to get here. The years of sacrifice, the discipline, the determination. You're not just on vacation. You're living proof that financial freedom is real, that it enables dreams, that it's worth every hard choice you made to get here. You take a photo in front of the Eiffel Tower and post it with a caption. 3 years ago, I was $68,000 in debt. Today, I'm in Paris, completely debt-free, living the life I dreamed about. If I can do it, you can too. The post gets hundreds of likes and comments, people asking how you did it, sharing their own debt struggles, telling you you're inspiring them to start their own journey. The message spreads wider than you expected. Your story is reaching people you'll never meet, in places you'll never go. And maybe some of them will get out of debt because of what you shared. That thought fills you with purpose. Back home from Europe, you're energized, ready to keep building. Your retirement accounts continue growing. You're on track to hit $200,000 invested in the next 18 months. At this pace, early retirement isn't just possible, it's probable. The numbers work. The plan is solid. You're actually going to do this. You sit down with your partner for a serious conversation. I want to go full-time with the coaching business. You say, I think I'm ready. I have enough clients, enough income from it, and I believe I can grow it even more if I have full time to dedicate to it. Your partner thinks about it. We can afford for you to try. Your job pays well, but we don't need both incomes anymore. We're debt-free, have savings, investments. Let's run the numbers and see if it makes sense. You spend the evening crunching numbers. Your coaching income plus part-time work you could pick up would cover your portion of expenses. Your partner's income covers the rest and all the savings. It's tight, but doable. And it would give you the freedom to really build this business, to help more people, to do work you're passionate about. 2 months later, you give notice at your job. Your boss is supportive, wishes you well, says the door is always open if you need to come back, but you know you won't need to. This is your path forward. Financial coaching, speaking, writing, helping people transform their relationship with money. This is what you're meant to do. Your last day at the office, your co-workers throw you a little party. Several of them pull you aside to thank you for helping them with their finances over the years. One woman tells you she paid off $20,000 in debt after working with you. Another says you helped him start his emergency fund, and he just hit $10,000 saved. You realize you've been coaching people informally for months before you made it official. Full-time coaching is everything you hoped. You take on more clients, start the podcast, grow the blog, plan workshops. You're booked solid most days, but it doesn't feel like work. It feels like purpose. Like this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing with your life. Using your pain to help others, turning your mess into your message. Your first podcast episode drops, and the response is overwhelming. Downloads in the thousands. comments and reviews pouring in. People saying they cried listening to your story, that they're inspired to start their own debt-free journey, that they needed to hear that it's possible. You record more episodes, interview other debt-free warriors, share strategies and encouragement. A local news station reaches out. They want to do a story about people who've achieved financial independence. They interview you and your partner in your home. You share your story on camera, the numbers, the strategies, the emotional journey. The segment airs and your inbox explodes. Hundreds of people reaching out for help. You're becoming known in your community as the debt-free coach, the person who can help, who understands, who's been there and made it through. You start getting invited to speak at more events, corporate lunch and learns, church groups, community centers. Everywhere you go, people are hungry for this information, desperate for hope that they can get out of debt too. 18 months after becoming debt-free, you and your partner hit a major milestone. Combined net worth of $500,000, $500,000, a number that seemed impossible when you were buried in debt. Now it's real, tangible, in your accounts. Money that's working for you, growing, compounding, building your future. You celebrate quietly at home with a nice bottle of wine and takeout from your favorite restaurant. You don't need a big party or expensive celebration. You just need each other in this moment, this acknowledgement of how far you've come. From negative 68,000 to positive 500,000. A swing of over $500,000 in your net worth in just a few years. We're going to make it, your partner says, looking at the numbers on your laptop. We're actually going to retire early, live the life we want, be financially free for the rest of our lives. We already are free, you point out. We've been free since that day we paid off the last debt. Everything since then has been building on that foundation. We're not working toward freedom anymore. We're living it and just making it stronger. That thought settles over you both. You're not waiting for someday. You're living your dreams now, working jobs you choose, taking trips you want, helping people you care about, building wealth for your future. All of it possible because you made the hard choice to tackle your debt, because you sacrificed temporary pleasures for lasting freedom. You think about that version of yourself from 4 years ago, buried in debt, hopeless, convinced you'd never get out. If you could go back and tell them what the future holds, they wouldn't believe it. Debt-free, building wealth, helping others, living a purpose-driven life. It would sound like fiction, like someone else's story. But it's your story. You wrote it with every dollar you saved, every expense you cut, every extra shift you worked, every no you said to things you wanted, every yes you said to your goals. This life is the result of thousands of small choices, all pointing in the same direction: freedom. Your coaching practice continues growing. You hire an assistant to help with scheduling and admin work. You create online courses so you can help people even when you're not working one-on-one. You write an ebook about your debt-free journey that sells hundreds of copies in the first month. You're building a sustainable business around helping people with money. You get a message from someone who found your blog years ago when they were deep in debt. They followed your advice, created a plan, stayed consistent. Today they made their final payment, $84,000 paid off in 3 years. They're debt-free, and it's because of what you shared, because you were vulnerable about your struggles and your victories. These stories keep coming, person after person whose life changed because you shared yours. It's overwhelming in the best way. Proof that your pain had purpose, that your journey can light the way for others, that financial freedom is contagious when you're willing to talk openly about money. You're lying in bed one night, unable to sleep, mind spinning with gratitude. You think about everything you have now. No debt, strong savings, growing investments, work you love, people you're helping, a partner who supports you completely, a life rich in all the ways that matter. And it all started with one decision, the decision to get out of debt. That one choice rippled forward, creating this entire life, this reality that seemed impossible 4 years ago. You didn't just become debt-free, you became free. Free to choose, free to grow, free to help others, free to live intentionally instead of desperately, free to build wealth instead of just surviving, free to dream and actually achieve those dreams. You reach over and take your partner's hand in the dark. They squeeze back, both of you awake, both of you thinking about the same things. How far you've come, how much you've built, how grateful you are for the hard times because they led to this, to freedom, to peace, to joy, to a life you actually want instead of a life you're just enduring. This is what financial freedom looks like. Not just the absence of debt, but the presence of possibility. Not just surviving, but thriving. Not just working to pay bills, but working to build dreams. Not just getting by, but actually living. Really, truly living. Making choices based on what matters to you, not what you can barely afford. And the best part? You get to wake up tomorrow and the next day, and the day after that still debt-free. Still building, still growing, still helping others, still living this life you created through determination and discipline and hope. This isn't temporary. This isn't luck. This is lasting change. A complete transformation of your financial life and therefore your entire life. You close your eyes finally, ready to sleep. Tomorrow you'll wake up and continue building, continue helping, continue growing, continue living in this freedom you fought so hard to achieve. This is your life now, debt-free, purpose-driven, financially secure, rich in all the ways that matter. And it's better than you ever dreamed it could be, because you didn't just pay off debt. You paid for your freedom, and that freedom is priceless, worth every sacrifice, worth every hard choice, worth everything it took to get here. This is the life you always wanted, and you earned every single moment of it.